So yesterday we looked at what data analytics is all about, a little into importance of analytics. We also looked at what are the different fields into analytics, how analytics is helping businesses. Then we also looked at a little bit on the data collection, why it is important, how it is important, how we do data collection, how do we plan for data collection, how it is important to first identify an outcome so that you can prepare your data and you can prepare your outcome basis your requirements. How do you set your data for analysis? That's what we covered till yesterday. So now today what we're going to do, we're going to actually do some practical things. Now let me give you a background, that you know the goal is to start with a business objective. Okay, so we'll look at that business objective in our case study and show you how things happen. But once you have a business objective, you know what matrices on the data that you're collecting, you have also collected data on those matrices. That's when uh, your first step actually starts. Now whenever we collect some data, so I've got a lot of data sets here for you. We collect certain data. Now we have to first check that the data that we have is or can be used for the purpose that we have collected this data. uh, so we need to do certain sanitation checks on the data. Now what are the different sanitation checks that you can do? One is you look at the data structure itself. So let's say if I have this data which says, we have the dates, we have the order ID, product, which product was sold, who was the salesman, region, number of customers, net sales, profit or loss. So I see, I have some data here, but you see the dates are not in the format that I require or I can understand. Excel can understand these dates, but these are just in 5-digit numbers. So I need to maybe do certain things to get this data in a way that is more readable, not only with me, but if I send it to somebody else for doing certain analysis on this, they should also understand. So I need to check this data. I need to check if the data that I've collected is enough. So here in this example, we have got around 1325 rows of data, and I think those are enough for doing any statistical validation or to run some analytical things on top of this data. I may collect the data where certain records gets duplicated because there are 4-5 people who are doing this data collection, and it might happen that 2 people can collect same data, and then we put all in one sheet, and the data gets duplicated. So I need to understand if that is what I require. If not, then I need to remove those duplicate data. But I need to get understand if there are duplicate records and all of it. I may have a long, big set of data that I have, but I only require part from the data for my analytics because that is what my goal is. Here in this example, maybe, I've got data from North region, Middle region, West region, and other regions, but I may only require data from only 2 regions. Okay, so I should be able to pull out those data, relevant data for my analysis and analytics. So these are few key things, that you should understand. It may be required, it may not be required, because you may already have a data which is readily usable. You can jump on to your analysis, but it is a good idea, when you're doing any data analytics, or looking at the data, it is always advisable that you first look at the sanctity of the data, if this data is good enough for you to move forward in your analysis. Okay, so I'm going to teach you certain steps where if you find few things, and this is all from my practical examples, working with the corporates, where when you collect data, what can go wrong, or how do you look at it, what are the different things, ways that you can maneuver through it. Okay, so first thing first, I see the dates are not in the right format. I need to format them. Okay, so that is the first step that we're learning, how to format your data that makes more sense from a human interaction perspective. I'm not talking about machine perspective, because machine can understand all this, what is there. It already understands. So how do we format it? There are multiple formats options that we have, including from font format to the size of the fonts, to the font itself, alignment of your data. And then we have these general, alignments in terms of the number formats itself. We'll also look at the conditional formatting, how the conditional formatting helps you, what conditional formatting is all about. I need to put these dates in the right way. What I will do, I will first select all my entire date column. How do I select? People with little bit of Excel would know. You can use either your mouse or your keyboard to do the selection. You can do Shift, Control, and down arrow key, all three together. So your entire column of data gets selected. Once this is selected, I know I need to make a change to a date format. Now the date format is under this ribbon, which is called the number. I will pull it up. Okay, so when you pull it up, you see this heading called format cell. And I need this to be in form of a date. So I need the formatting to be as date. So I'll click on date, and I've got all these options available. The way I want to look at it, the way I want to present it, I can pick one of them. I can pick a general form of a date. Okay. Excel will always use month, date, and year, not the Indian form. So normally, as Indians, we use date, month, and year. But at the end, back end, Excel only understands in form of month, date, and year. So be very careful with especially the months till 9, because 10. So those dates. So dates till 12. If you have 12/12/2022, Excel will not understand that as 12th of December 22. Uh, so this, I'll give you more examples. Let me first select one. So I'm more comfortable using this date, 14th March. Uh, I click OK, so I get the dates in this format. That's one of the formats. And this is what I was referring to. 112022 will make no difference. It is still January 1, 2022. But if you say 12/1/2022, it doesn't mean 12th of January, but it actually means 1st of December. That is how Excel is going to interpret. Okay, so we'll change the format to what we understand and see what comes out of it. So let's put it in this format. See, it's 1st of January and it's 1st of December, not the other way around. Okay, so be very careful when you're working with dates, especially when it is in a different format that you don't understand and only Excel can understand. I can format dates in different ways as well. Okay, what are the other options available? I can have a full date including the day of the month, like this, and it gives me Saturday, January 1, 2022. I may have different formats. Okay, so all these formats are available. You need to attach the time, but you should have a time factor at the back end so that the time can also be visible. Right now, if I select the time, it is just going to show me 12 a.m. because there is no time with that is at the back of this data. You may have some data where you may also have a time attached to it. So time is normally in hours, minutes, and seconds. If it is only 11:45, that is 11 hours 45 minutes, it will never read it as 11 minutes 45 seconds. If you have to make it read 11 minutes 45 seconds, you will have to type 00 and then 45 and 23. That is how it is going to understand. So if I've got something like this, and now if I format it in the time in the way of time. Okay, then I will be able to see this. So this is 1/1/2022, 11:45 a.m. Okay, so that is uh, the date time format. uh, I may want to see the net sales in certain units, units in terms of either it could be dollar, it could be pound, it could be INR, it could be any currency. Okay, so here in this example, let's say it is in USD, the dollar form, and I want these numbers, because these are looking just simple numbers. Nobody can make out what this is. So I need to format it and show um that this is in dollars. So how do I do that? I again go to the same option. Okay, so this opens up, and now I use currency format. Okay, so by default you will see dollar, but all these currency formats are available from almost every country around the globe. You have these symbols available. Okay, so you can pick the right currency that you want to show. Okay, so I'm picking dollar right now. You can decide how many decimal places you want to see. Normally when we're working with accountancy or currencies, we normally will want to see it at least 2 decimal places. That is what by default it is set at. Okay, so the moment you click OK, it changes the format. It changes the format to dollar. Similarly, for profit loss, I also want to see that in dollars. So I will use currency here, and then I'll click OK. Okay, and these are number of customers. I think number of customers do not require a decimal places, because we will never have customers in decimal places. I can remove this decimal from here and only show one single digit number. How do I do this? We have got increased decimal and decreased decimal here. So using these options, I can either increase decimals or I can decrease decimals. So I can quickly do that. I will just browse through the data once to see if everything looks fine. And then I think it looked fine. Now, this is one of the things that we've done on this data. Um, okay, so now my data is ready for my next steps. So that is one example I just wanted to show you. Now let's look at another example. I made some errors in this data. I think they didn't get saved. Just a quick second. Okay, so conditional formatting is another very powerful tool which is in Excel that helps you do a lot of things. One of the things that conditional formatting can help you is find any duplicate values that you have. And that was one example. I said that we need to check if there are any duplicate values. So I can check in the order ID if there is any order ID which is duplicate. I can expect a duplicate product. I can expect a duplicate salesperson's name. I can expect a duplicate region. I can expect number of customers that can go duplicate. I can expect net sales to go duplicate. I can even expect profit loss to go duplicate. Okay, I may have a reason where the dates may also repeat. Okay, so maybe I'm collecting data from different regions, and I can have single date from different regions. So north can also have a date from 1 January to 7 January, same with the other region. So The only place where I can check for duplicates is the order ID, because order ID will never repeat. If once one order is made, then that becomes a unique ID. So I will always run a check of duplicacy on unique values, which I am not expecting that they will repeat. So I'll check duplicate IDs in the order. To do that, I'll first select all these order IDs, and then I will go to conditional format. Now, conditional formats gives me a lot of rules to check. One of the rule is to highlight cells based on certain things. If the value is greater than, less than, between, equal to, text, any text that contains any date occurring, and one of the things that it can highlight is duplicate values. Okay. What other things are there? You can look at top 10 items. You can look at top 10 percentage contribution of an item. You can look at the bottom 10 percentage. You can set an average. So on an average, if the value is above that average, or if the value is below that average. So all that is possible. We can use some data bars to represent our data, how big or small that data is. It's an amazing way of showing. Then we can use icon sets to represent our data, which normally tells you, helps you compare your own data set within your own data set. Okay. So we'll start here. Duplicate values. That is what I want to achieve right now. So I click on duplicate values. I say by default, it says any duplicate value will be highlighted in red, and it will be filled with dark red text. And the moment I click OK, and then I glance through my data, I see I have some duplicate values. Okay. So all these order IDs have been repeated more than once. Whether it is 2, 3, or 4, or 5, I don't know, but they have been repeated more than once. So these are all duplicate IDs that I have. Now I have to decide, because I have to do some analysis. Do I want to keep these duplicate values? Is it okay to keep it? Or do I need to remove these duplicate values? Because that is what my intention is, to remove and use only unique values. Okay. Now, if I decide to remove these duplicate values, I can remove in one jiffy. I don't have to go to each row and delete it manually. How do I do that? We will quickly learn. How do I remove duplicates? Okay, so to do that, I will first select this entire selection of the order IDs. I'll go to the data tab, and under data tab, under data tools, I have remove duplicates. Okay, so the moment you click, it will say expand your selection. I'll say yes, expand my selection, because I want the entire row to be deleted, not only one item within this selection. Okay, so I'll say remove duplicates. So it is showing me it has selected all, and I say my data has a header. Yes, I don't want to remove the headers, and then I'll click OK. So the moment I click OK, it says it has found 4 duplicate values and removed 101,325 unique values remain. Now what it has done when I've so this is something very interesting that I just did. So it has checked for this entire row. Okay, it has checked the duplicate values in this entire row. If all the values it found were duplicate, it has removed. But there are still certain order IDs that remains, which are duplicate, but the other related items are different. So here, if you see, you observe row number 1, and you compare it with row number 6. So what is different? The product and the dates are different. Okay. Similarly, here the date is different. Similarly, with this and with this, the product is different. Now, this could be an error. This could be a data collection error. Maybe people may not have collected the right data, or maybe they may not have collected the right order ID. They may have all the other items correct. Now again, there is a decision point that we have to sit and do and see, do I really need to keep this? Is it going to hamper, my analysis? Is it going to give me some weird outputs if I keep this data? So I have to decide right now, do I want to keep it? Do I want to remove? If I still want to remove them, I decide in that way. Now what I will do, I will do this selection. I will say remove duplicates, and I will now not select expand this selection. I'll say continue with the current selection, and then I will click remove duplicates. Okay, and then okay. So 6 duplicate values were found, and 1319 unique values remain. So now what it has done, it has only looked at the order ID for duplicacy and removed the entire row. And now what you have is unique data for your analysis. All right, then, these things again come back.
Sir, one learner has one question. He raised the hand.
Yes, shoot your question.
सर डुप्लीकेट आईडी जो रिमूव किया है उसका पूरा डेटा चेंज मतलब डिलीट होगा या सिर्फ वो ऑर्डर आईडी?
नहीं, पूरा डेटा डिलीट होगा. सो जो मैंने किया, सबसे पहले मैंने क्या किया, मैंने चेक किया कि इफ ऑल द रिकॉर्ड्स आर डुप्लीकेट. ठीक है, दैट इज व्हाट आई चेक्ड. इफ ऑल द रिकॉर्ड्स आर डुप्लीकेट, रिमूव इट. One second, I'll just bring it back to the original form. Okay, so this is what I had, and then I ran the duplicate. I put a conditional format, and I got that these order IDs are duplicate. Right now, if you observe, okay, I can do a filter. Okay, I can apply a filter to even check. How do I apply a filter? That's another way that I'm teaching. So you select this, and you can do Alt D F. That gives you a filter, or there are other options for getting the filter. So you can filter with any one product ID, let's say 1111. Now it only gives me these IDs. Now you observe this. You observe row number 1. So it has got date as 1st of January. Order ID is 111. Product 1, Adam North 8, and all of this. But if you compare this with the second row, the date is different. The order ID is the same. The product is different. The region is different. Number of customers are different. Net sales is different. Profit loss is different. So this definitely seems to be some kind of an error in data collection. Okay, I can't have same order ID with every other thing as different. Okay, but if you observe this here, the date is different, the product is same, salesperson is same, region is different, and other stuff are different. Okay, and similarly it goes with others. Okay, so let's pick 1117, or let's say 1132. 1132. Okay, so here again you see the dates are different, the product, the region, net sales, profit loss is different, but the order ID is same. This also seems to be some kind of an error in my data collection. Let me make a same record for you. Okay, 1 second. Okay, so I made this record. Yeah, 1 1 2 3. So let me filter 1 1 2 3. Okay, so here this definitely seems like that these have been added more than once. Everything is the same. Okay, this is easy to fix, right? We can simply remove, easy to fix. But the other stuff, I have to take a decision. Do I keep, do I remove? Is it going to impact all of it? So once I have done a decision, then I will remove. If I still want to keep it, because I may decide the order ID may not be a problem, but I can still go ahead and analyze how many products, how many customers, what are the net sales that happened, from which region it's happened, who was the salesman. If I want to do all those things and I think order ID is not going to impact my analysis, I can keep it. Okay, so it entirely depends on what you want to do. But if I decide to remove, I can still go ahead and remove. So I can select this entire data set. I can go to data. I can do remove duplicates. If I only want to remove the rows which has all the values which have repeated, I will make this entire selection. Okay, I will make all this entire selection. But if I want only the order IDs to be looked at, but still I want the entire row of data to be removed, I can do that as well. Let me start by only removing where all the rows are same. So it found 5 duplicate values and 1325 unique values. Okay, so that is what I did in the last step. So what it did, इसने सारी की सारी वो rows को remove कर दिया जहां पर duplicate value था, सब सारा कुछ match किया. ठीक है. But now what I want, that I want to remove these order IDs as well, and along with the other set of data should also go. So how do I do it? I will select this. I'll click remove duplicate. And this time I will not select expand selection. I'll say only look at the duplicate values in this column and then remove. Okay, so it is only going to check the order ID. If it finds it is duplicate, it will remove. Now, the question is which values it is going to remove. Okay, किसको remove करेगा, किसको duplicate मानेगा, पहली को या बाद वाली को. So Excel will always check from top and go to bottom. Any value which appears first, it is going to keep that value, but any value which is below that value, it is going to remove that. Okay, so a lot of cautious has to be done when you are doing this particular step of setting up your data. You have to be very, very careful what you keep and what you remove, because it might impact your overall analysis. Got it, my friend?
Yes, sir. एक doubt है, sir.
हाँ बोलिए.
Like I want to work professionally for the finance sector. In that situation, what is the ideal way to remove data, or what means क्या करना चाहिए? पूरा का पूरा remove करना चाहिए या
आई थिंक या मेरे को आपका सवाल समझ आ गया कि आप फाइनेंस सेक्टर में जाना चाहते हो और वहां पर आपके लिए आपको क्या देखना पड़ेगा. अगेन आई एम सेइंग देयर इज नो राइट और रॉन्ग वे और देयर इज नो वन सिंगल पाथ. कोई एक तरीका नहीं है. क्या आपने करना है आपके डेटा के साथ वो डिपेंड करेगा कि आपका किस तरह का डेटा है, आप क्या एनालिसिस करना चाह रहे हो. उसमें और भी चीजें होती है. आपका डेटा सोर्स क्या है, कहाँ से निकल के आया डेटा. किसी ने मैन्युअली डाला है तो डेफिनेटली चांसेस है कि उसमें एरर होगा. पर अगर वो सिस्टम से डेटा आ रहा है तो बहुत रेयर चांस होगा. मैं ये नहीं बोल रहा हूँ कि वहाँ चांस नहीं होगा, बट बड़ा रेयर चांस होगा कि उस डेटा में कुछ भी खराब हो सकता है. जब होगा, then at that point in time we have to take a decision on those data points that are that are duplicate. Okay, or anything, it could be anything, it could be missing values as well. That was the next I was trying to talk about it. So आपने data collect किया, आपने देखा यहाँ पर sales value ही नहीं है, ठीक है, या यहाँ पर ये नेट प्रॉफिट ही मिसिंग है, या यहाँ पर सेल्समैन का नाम ही मिसिंग है, या यहाँ पर रीजन मिसिंग है कहीं पर, you know, you may also end up collecting data like this. Then we have to take a decision, what do we do? Okay, how do we treat this? Because you can't create values, right? But within the constraint of the data that you have, and that is a caveat that we're going to put when we present this to anyone. That's a caveat that we will put, that we remove certain values because those values were not available. My first attempt should be to go back to the data collectors and my source, कहाँ source है मेरा, वहां जाके मैं ये देखूं कि वो मेरे को values अगर मिल जाए तो, okay, that is always the first step of every data engineer, that to get that right data. If not, then we take informed decisions of either removing or making that data, okay, basis certain assumptions. ठीक है?
Yes,
Sir, I
sir.
have a question
Thank you.
here. Am I audible?
Yeah, go ahead, ma'am.
Yes. So right now we have run the duplicates based on the order ID column, right? But sometimes in the data, we might not have order IDs populated for every record. In such case, but there could be, a duplicate there in a sense, like the date could be same and all the other fields in the data could be same. So how can I identify such kind of data?
Yeah. So that's a very, very good question. And this question is very similar to, the examples that I'm giving. So let's say the order IDs is not there. Okay. Let's say these order IDs are not there, but I have rest of the data. And I don't know if this is repeating, because other values may be repeating. My dates may be same, my product may be same, my salesperson, my region, my number of customers may be same, my net sales may be same, and profit may be same. Now that cannot happen with Fluke. Okay, that if order ID is missing and every other record is same. If every other record is same, you can assume that this is a duplicate record and you can easily remove it. But if none of the other values match with others, maybe the sales, because this is an important aspect of my data, my net sales and profit and number of customers, I can do away with rest of it, because they may not hamper my analysis. But the analysis that I'm normally in this kind of a data set I'm going to run is how much is the net sales, how many number of customers are involved in that sale, how much profit loss did we make, and all of it. Okay.
Yeah.
So again, going back and to answer everybody else's query that might be creeping in, how do I decide what do I keep? The decision is taken on the spot with the data, with the kind of analysis, and with the kind of outputs that I'm generating. And it may be different for different data sets. Some data sets I may have missing records, but I will have no permission to remove any record, because I need analysis the way it is. Okay. If there are missing records, I'm asked to show those missing records on my report, that these many records are missing. So I will remove nothing. I will still keep it and I'll go ahead. But I may have a decision which says, okay, if there are any records missing, you can't find it out, remove it. Present what the rest of the data shows. Okay. And that's where we say that we should have adequate amount of data so that at least we can see some patterns out of it. Even if I remove 10, 15 records, which may be faulty for any reason, I still be able to run some output. And this is not the last report that I'm going to create. I'm going to create similar reports, week on week, month on month, and it will still show me some patterns that I want to see. In terms of net sales, in terms of number of customers versus sales, in terms of any profit loss that I'm making.
Yeah, thanks for the clarification, sir. So the question, it's more like a technical question. So if right now I'm running a remove duplicate, whatever, the command based on the column B. So can I run it on multiple columns like C, D, E, F, G, H? I can do a multiple selection and do the remove duplicates.
No. So if you're running it on multiple, that means it is going to check those multiple records. Okay. Let me help you here with just small records so that you can understand. So I think I have these records here. Okay, so I want to check two things. I want to check the product and I want to check the salesperson's name. If it is duplicate, I want to remove. Okay. Order ID may be different or the region may be different. Now, if I do this selection,
Mhm.
so I will uncheck J because I'm not checking this, and I will uncheck M. I only want the Excel to check for these two records, product and the name. If these two matches in any two rows, it will remove.
Okay.
If I select J, which means it is going to match these three records with the three records in the other rows, and then it is going to remove. If I check all four, it is going to check all the four records, and then only it is going to remove. See, I
Okay.
remove J and M. See what
Mhm.
it does. So it removed this duplicate value
Okay.
because it only checked, because I checked only two. So it matched two and it removed.
Okay. Yeah. Makes sense. Thanks, sir.
Sir, I wanted to ask something that in this data set, we can easily see that the product one is having product one, two, three, all are having the same salesman. Suppose in this particular type of data set, the problem statement is that we want to know that that Adam, for say, let's say Adam salesman, how many products he is covering. Can
Yeah,
we
yeah,
get that?
we'll come there. We'll come there. Don't worry. We're just setting up the data. That is still in my kitty. We will see all of it. We'll see by date, we'll see by product, we'll see by salesman, we'll see by region, and we can see by anything. I can see it by any number of combinations I want to see. And that is where I said that I should be able to have a problem statement at hand. What is it that I'm going to solve for it? So that's there on my card. I'll show you in a while. Okay, so conditional format. Let's move on to look at what if I need only certain type of records from a list of records. Okay, so say for example, if this is my database and I only require and I only need to do analysis only on, let's say, order ID 1112 1113 okay, so I only want to pull out records only for these product IDs to see if we have anything. Okay, I can use a function called Vlookup or HLOOKUP depending on how my data is spanned. Okay, so if my data is spanned like this, then I need an HLOOKUP. But if my data is like this, then I need a Vlookup. Let's learn how we to do a Vlookup and get my values. So what the values I need product sold, salesman, and net sales. So I will use these headers. I'll copy and paste these headers here. And this is how I use a VLOOKUP. Okay, I say equals VLOOKUP. There are four things that I need to provide while I'm doing a VLOOKUP. I need to first pick what do I need to search. I want to search this order ID. Then I need to decide where do I need to search this. I need to search this in this entire table. So this is my table. And then the next value, it says what is it that you need to look for in terms of a column index. Now, how does the column index work here? Column index starts with the value that you are looking up. So order ID is something that I'm looking up in this entire table. So that takes column ID 1. This is column ID 2. This is column ID 3. And this is column ID 4. So I am now extracting product sold, which is in column ID 2. So I will type 2. and then I need to tell, do I need to do a exact match or can an approximate match also work? But I definitely need an exact match. So I will select 0. I will close the parenthesis and my VLOOKUP formula is complete. So the moment I enter, I get the product sold against order ID 112 and I can quickly check. Similarly, I will do for salesman. Similarly, I'll do for net sales. But what if I need, I want, all these 3 values to be populated at once? That option is also available using an array formula within the VLOOKUP formula. How do I do that? I will first do this selection and then I will start typing the formula. The formula doesn't change, but few things will change here. See how. So I want to VLOOKUP. I want to VLOOKUP in this entire table. Now I need to tell which column index I require. So I require column index 2, 3, and 4. Now this has to be in a curly braces. And then I say do an exact match. I close the parenthesis. But I will not simply enter from my keyboard, but I am going to use Control Shift and then enter. Control Shift and then enter. So I get everything in once. But you observe that when you get a formula like this, it gets into a curly braces. That means this is a formula which is done using arrays. Advantage of getting values like this in another table is that there is no accidental deletion that can happen. If somebody wants to accidentally delete one of the values in the array, they will not be able to delete. You cannot change part of an array. Okay, so I like if I know that I need all the items from a table into another table, I would always prefer doing it in an array way, because I then know that accidental deletions is not possible. Now I just need to put the formula once, and then what I can do, I can just select, use this fill handler, double click it, and it is going to populate my rest of the data. Now there is one record which is not showing because order ID 1114 doesn't exist, and that's okay. Okay, it doesn't exist. I can remove this record. Okay, so that's using a lookup. There are multiple ways you can get this data. This is one of the most easiest way that I learned, and within the time that is available. We also have lookups. We also have index match functions that are available to do the same thing. But I find this more easy to get. Okay, so that's VLOOKUP. We're not talking about HLOOKUP right now, because HLOOKUP is something that mostly is not used. We never will have data in the rows, but we will always have data in the columns. That is generally journal practice of getting your data. So once I know I have this data, then I can do whatever analysis that I want to run. Then let's move forward. How do I, once I set up this data, how do I start doing analysis on it? Okay, so for this, I'm going to use another data set. Okay, so what we are going to run on this is all of this: sum, if, median, average, mode, variance, standard deviation. Now you can use these commands only on the columns where you have numbers. Okay, you can't run these commands on any of the cells where you have text values, right? So there are only these 3 columns where I can run all of this. So we'll run this. We'll learn how do we do the sum. I call it mean because we called it mean. but it means average. Okay, we can also do count. We can also do I'll tell you more things. Then we can do sum if, we can do count if, we can do variance, and we can do standard deviation. Okay, so how do I do a sum? Quick option is here, auto sum, right here. But let's learn how to do it. How does it, I mean, how the sum happens, then we can go and explore that. So I'll say equal sum, and I will select all these. Okay, and all I need to do is hit enter. So there are total of 10,624 customers in the data that I have. Similarly, I can just quickly copy and paste this formula here and here, and it gives me the values. Okay, the other rules will remain the same. I need to show this in dollars. I need to show this in any other currency. I can do that. Okay, so all that is available with me. Okay, how do I do an average? The formula is equals average, and I make this selection. So on an average, there are 8.018. Doesn't make any sense, but then for analysis purpose, that's fine. So on an average, I have 8.02 customers. I can copy this, which is giving me on an average 6,565 USD of sales. Okay, with an average of 2417.22 as profit or loss.
Don't worry.
What was that? Okay, I want to count how many records I have. I can use count and then select this, and it says there are 1,325 records. Not, we'll have say same records here, unless we have some values that are missing. So let's say if this value got missed out, so it shows me one less count. So I know there is a value which is missing here. Okay. There are other ways of counting the blank values, blank cells. If blank is blank, there are many more functions that are available to do all this checking things. Now let's say I want to sum all the orders, all the net sales, which is, let's say, above 10,000 USD. Okay, all the sales which is more than 10,000 USD. I only want to see how much is that value comes to. I can use sum if. Okay, so I do sum if. What is the range? Range is this. What is the criteria? Criteria is any order greater than 10,000. If I find this, this is my sum range. So you check within this entire range all those orders that are above 10,000 USD and sum that. So the value of all the orders above 10,000 is this. This is the total, and orders above 10,000 is this. Okay. I want to count how many of these orders have summed up to this value. Okay, so what is this value? This is 2,987,322.25. That is how the Americans will read. Okay, they will not read in crores and lakhs, but they will read in million and thousands. Okay, so this is 2,987,322.25. How many orders made this value? So I can do equal count if this is my range. Okay, I want to count all the orders that are above 10,000. So there are total 251 entries out of 1325 that made to this. And I can do more analysis on this if that is my requirement. I want to see what is the percentage of those orders that are above 10,000. I want to know in terms of what is the percentage of dollar value that these orders have in overall. I can run those similar analysis with profit and loss and all of it. Now I want to find out what is the variance in terms of the sales that salespeople are doing and the total number of customers that they're impacting, or the number of customers they are selling to. Okay, so I want to find out the variation part. So we looked at the mean part here. So on an average is 8.02. But what is a variance? A variance may not give you the right picture, but a standard deviation will. But let's learn how to find out variance. So the formula for variance is var.s. S stands for sample, because we assume that we have collected the data which is a sample, and then we select this. So the variance is 2.012, or let's stick to 2 decimals, 2.01. But what is the standard deviation? Standard deviation stdev.s, and I make the selection. And this is 1.42. So that means there is a variation in terms of the customers to this range. Then I want to understand what is the variation in terms of the sales. Okay, so on an average, each sales figure is apart by around USD 3,455.75 with a standard deviation of 1.42. Okay, now this can be done at once by using the statistical arm of Excel. I can do all of it and much more in just one click. Okay, though it is on a different, it is in the next sheet here, descriptive statistics, but I want to just bring it forward using this data sheet. Okay, so I want to run, I want to find out all that in one go. I can use the analytics part of Excel, which is right here under the data tab. This is called data analysis. Okay, so when you click on data analysis, these are the list of all statistical analysis that are possible on Excel. Okay, starting with single factor ANOVA, 2-factor with replication, 2 factors without replication, correlation, covariance, descriptive statistics, exponential smoothing, F-test, Fourier analysis, histograms, moving average, all of it. So all these are the statistical analysis that is available. But in order to run these tests, we need to learn these statistical tests before we can appreciate. But what we are going to appreciate from here is descriptive statistics. Okay, we'll focus on descriptive statistics right now. I will click on OK. So it is asking me what is your input range. So let's say I want descriptive statistics on net sales. Okay, so I'll select all of it. It is asking me group by columns. Yes. Label in the first row. Yes. Where do you need the output? New worksheet. No, I need it on the same worksheet. Put it here for me, or let's say here. Okay. What do you need? I need summary statistics. And I click OK. So it gives me all of it. Okay. Let me put it to 2 decimals right now, so that it is easy for us to read. So this is the mean of all the net sales. There's something called a standard error or small e. Don't worry right now. It gives me the median as well. It gives me the mode, standard deviation, sample variance, kurtosis, skewness, range, minimum, maximum, sum, and count. Okay, so all these descriptive statistics can be done at once using this. So I can do this for number of customers as well. I'll go back to data. I will go to data analysis, descriptive statistics. Now this time I say do it for number of customers. Put it right here and click OK. So you get this for number of customers. Again, let's put it to 2 decimal places. Okay, and then we can do for the other as well, profit loss. So this is the descriptive statistics that most of the statisticians may require to do some analysis or run some analytics on this data set. Okay, this may not be making a lot of sense right now for you guys, and that's okay. As of now, as long as we're learning how to extract this, we can build on top of it, understand, learn what all these means and how do we make use of all these. But there are a few things which you can always understand, that on an average their net sales is around 6,565. On an average there are 8.02 customers. We can also run similar on profit and loss. Median and mean are very close to each other. So 8 as median and 8.02 as mean. If I want to look at mode, how many more frequent customers at one time we have 9 customers, and around 13,050 is the net sales that is most prevalent. Okay, and that can give me some insight that how should I focus on either increasing this mean sales or repeating more of these sales so that I can have more sales value. So this is the descriptive part of it.
Sir, while working on the getting the average of the whole particular column, you were selecting a cell, particular cell, applying the formula. Then how all the cells were selected in one shot? Is there any shortcut key or something?
Oh yes. So how do I do it? Let's say I say equals average. Then I bring my cursor from my keyboard to this cell value. Then I click Control and Shift, and then above arrow key. Okay, in one go I can select. I can do it the other way. I can start from top, equal sum. I can bring it to the top, the first cell. Here. Okay, and then press Control and Shift and then down arrow key.
Okay, means Control Shift then the arrows
down
keys.
Or yeah, the arrow keys, correct. If I want to do the selection on the right, I can do the right arrow key. I want to do the selection on the left, I can do the left arrow key.
Sir,
Select
after that, after it has been selected, then what I have to do? Enter. Okay. That would work.
And enter. It is working for me. It will work for you as well.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anytime. Okay, guys, just in the interest of time, I want to do two more things, and then we will jump on to our case study. Two things I'm going to show you. And one thing I want to talk about, that, you know, these descriptive statistics, whatever I've done here, can only be done, okay, when you have a continuous data. So these descriptive statistics run only for continuous data, not for discrete values. You can get these statistics out, but it will not be a right representation for discrete data. So you have to have more of a continuous data. Two more analysis I will show you, and then because these are still two topics that are very, very important, I want to touch base. Okay. Anyway, we'll do it quickly. So histogram is another you know, statistical tool that that we use to see what is the shape of my data, how my data you know, looks like, how my data is spread around. And the shape also tells a lot about your behavior of your data, how the data is behaving, how the values in the data are behaving. Now, what is a histogram? Histogram is a specialized bar graph. Specialized bar graph where you will have most of your, if you know, if that is how the shape of your data may look like. So a histogram may look like this. It's a specialized bar graph with most of the data points in the center, and then the data go like this. And if I may join the center points of each of this bar, it will look like a curve. This is called a normal curve. Statistics, I just want to keep out right now. Maybe we can have another session where you know, we can learn some basics you know, on statistics and how do we use in analyzing data. Because big data, artificial intelligence, machine learning, all of it uses, you know, this data distributions, because this is one of the ways that the machine learning uses to learn the data and then use the same pattern to forecast the data and show you future patterns. So this is what histogram looks like. How do we do it on Excel? Let's quickly come back and see how do we make a histogram. Now, histogram again can be done with only number values. I cannot do histogram on any other thing. So let's say I have here, I've collected some data which shows me how much time people have taken on call. So this name of the person, date, this is the call ID, and this is the duration in minutes. I want to see, you know, how this data pattern looks like. Very simple. There is a long way and there is short way. I'm teaching you a shorter way of how to draw a histogram. There is a long way, obviously. You can use that as well. Now, to make a histogram, I first select this data. Then I go to insert. And then I look here under the charts. Okay. And then I go to all charts. And I have got histogram right here. Okay, so you get a histogram. Now what this histogram is telling you, this histogram is telling you that most of the call duration, okay, most of the call duration are between 6.5 minutes to 12 minutes. Because this is where most of the data is. Okay, so histogram plots the frequency of the data. So 6.5 to 12 minutes is maximum calls. Then There are some calls between 1 minute to 6.5 minutes. Then there are calls between 12 minutes to 17.5 minutes. There are calls between 17.5 minutes to 23 minutes. So it is giving me a pattern of how my call duration looks like. Okay. There may be other patterns that that histogram can show you. The patterns may be like this. You may have bars like this. Okay, so this could be one of the patterns. You may have patterns where it shows nothing. Okay, most of the bars are almost of equal size. This is called flat histograms, shows you that your data has got no pattern. This is called tailed histogram. This is the right tailed. You can have a left tailed histogram. Okay, something like this. Okay. Or you may have histogram where you may have more than one peak in your data. So you may have histogram like this. Okay, so it shows you that there are two peaks in your data, and each histogram is going to tell you a story about your data. We need to, be able to just look at a glance and understand the story. So for that, we need to understand the basic little bit more on these different statistical patterns so that we can catch. Okay, but that is how we use histogram in tandem with the descriptive analysis. Okay, let's move forward. Yeah, this is very interesting. What is a Pareto chart? A Pareto chart is basically, again, a kind of a bar, specialized bar chart with decreasing data. So Pareto normally tells you, okay, so Pareto is a tool that uses a rule of 80-20, 80-20 rule. This was designed by statisticians by looking at one of the statements that an Italian economist made. So one of the Italian economists way back said that 20% of the people in the world holds 80% of the wealth. And that instigated this person to convert this into a statistical tool, but he still kept the name after the person who made that statement. His name was Wilford V. Pareto. Okay, so 80-20 means that 20% of the errors will cause 80% of the problems in your area. So if I'm doing some analysis on number of errors that have been caught, okay, number of errors that have been caught, and I want to study which errors were the most. So let's say I have a process which does 7 steps, and I have a quality analyst who is analyzing each of the transactions that has happened and is noting down which of the steps went wrong. Okay, so he made a list of all the steps in 1000 transactions. So he looked at 1000 transactions and he pointed out that all these steps were wrong in those 1000 transactions. I want to do an analysis to find out which of those steps added the most. To do that, I use a Pareto chart. Again, there is long and short way of doing a Pareto. I'm going to show you a short way of doing a Pareto. Okay, Pareto option is not getting highlighted, so we'll have to go by the long way. Anyway, no worries. So number one, I need to put these errors in one column like this, and I want to find out how many times these errors happened. So question one got missed 13 times, question two got missed 44 times, so on and so forth. I will put them into a table, and I will arrange this table in a decreasing order with highest value first. So question 6 got missed 130 times in 1000 transactions, which means that question 6 is the most vulnerable, and it is contributing to almost 40% of the errors. This is in percentage. Okay, this is in percentage. So almost 39%. Question 6 and 3 put together adds to around 191 defects out of 1000, and they contribute to almost 58% of the errors, and these can be shown here on this specialized graph. So how do I do this? I select this, okay, then I go to insert. Now I get Pareto. See, the moment I do this data like this, it shows me this chart. Okay, clustered column, and I click OK. Now, how do I read this? Let me beautify this a little bit. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so there are two things that you see here. One is these bars. Now, these bars are the number of times any question went wrong. Okay, so this tells me that question 6 went wrong 130 times, followed by question 3, followed by question 2, 5, 7, 1, and 4. But I want to see what is that contribution of those 20%, which is adding to the 80% of the errors. All I need to do is look at this 80% mark here, and draw a line like this. And then wherever this line intersects this curve, I drop another line. So this becomes my concern area. If I reduce this, I will be able to make. So these are the reasons. Okay, so why did that happen? Remember the second descriptive, the statistical, why did that happen? So this is one of the ways to find why did that happen. Okay, too much of data, too much of stuff. Okay, now comes my favorite section of doing a dashboard. Okay, now there are a number of ways of doing dashboards. Again, it depends on what I need to show. One of the easiest ways of doing reporting and dashboard is using pivots. Okay, though I will show you other ways as well, but I find pivot tables and pivot chart dashboards to be more flexible, easy to learn, easy to maneuver, and easy to manage. Manual data may take a lot of time because you will have to be very careful in terms of the um, in terms of the formulas that you're using, in terms of the selection of the data for those formulas, all that needs to be absolutely correct. Pivots will never make an error. All you need to just ensure that your selection is okay. Once your selection is okay, then you can be rest assured that everything is well. Now, these are the questions that we will solve. And my friend asked me, can I do all these? And I said, yes, we can do all this. Okay, so we'll find out how much sales has been done by each salesperson. That's one of the things we'll find out. We'll find out how much sales has been done in each region. We'll also find out how many customers came from each region. We'll also find out how much sales was done in each region by salesperson. We'll also find out how many customers bought each product. And we will also find out how many sales was done in different years. Okay, so this data is for almost 3 years, 2012 to 2014. So we'll find out all of that. And to do that, as I said, there is a long way, but there is also a short way, and I'm going to teach you the short way. I'm going to select this entire data, whatever is in my selection. That's step number one. Step number two, I'm going to use pivot tables. Pivot tables resides under the insert menu, and the first option is pivot tables. I'll click on pivot tables. So since I've made the selection first, it has all by default, it has taken that selection. Now, once it has selected, it is asking me, where do you want to keep this pivot table? And it is advisable that you do not keep the pivot table on the data that you have collected. Okay, because you may want to make some changes to this data, addition, deletion, all of that is going to happen. So always do a pivot on a new worksheet. So I select new worksheet and I click OK. So this is my data, and this is the pivot table that has come on the new worksheet. Now just observe one thing and keep that in mind, the name of your pivot table. The name of your pivot table is table 9. Himanshu has some question. Okay. So how do I now do the put these values in the pivot table? Now, if you observe, the moment you select this pivot table, you get these fields. So whatever is in your header, in your headings, date, order ID, product, sales, region, becomes the pivot table fields here: date, order ID, product, all of it. So what is it that I want to see first? I want to see how much sales has been done by each salesperson. Okay, so I need the salesperson here. So I will pick this, click my left mouse button and drag and put it in the row like this. So this becomes my salesperson. Now I want to find out what is the total sales they have done. So this is the net sales. I will again keep my left mouse button pressed and I will drag this under the value. Okay, by default, it shows me the sum. You see, sum of net sales, sum of net sales. I can do this. So I get net sales by each salesperson. So he did 1,254,184. He did 1,271,000, all of it. Okay, so that's the net sales. I want to now find out what is the average sale that each salesperson has done. Okay, average sale that each salesperson had done. Now what I will do, I will take this net sales again and I will drop it here. But this is showing me some, don't worry. I will click here, okay, and I will click on value field setting. and I can have all of these under the values. I can do sum, count, average, max, min, okay, all of it, variation, standard deviation. I can get all of it in the pivot, and that is why I love pivot charts, pivot tables, sorry, because it gives me so much flexibility without worrying about the formulas, functions, my data at all. Okay, so this is the average sales that each salesperson has done. Let's add one more value and then we'll move to the next, solving the next problem. So let's say I want the standard deviation. What is the standard deviation of sales by each salesperson? So here it is, almost everybody is at the same variation, and this is a good sign. You know, the values are almost same, almost 3,500, 3,300, 3,500, 3,500, 3,000, very, very close, which means all salesperson are perfect. There is no salesperson who is doing less sales, and there's no salesperson doing many more sales. Okay, now I want the sales to be region wise. Okay, so I can pull this region and drop it here. I may want to see salesperson. I may not want to see. If I don't want to see salespersons anymore, I can quickly drag and drop it back. So I can see for each region, middle region, this is the total sales, north region, this is the sales, west region, this is the sales. These are the average and these are the standard deviations of sales within the each region. Okay, what else? Sales wise done. Okay, region and salesperson. So we did that, but we can again get the salesperson right on top of the region, but this may not be showing me a good picture. Now what do? I can take the region, instead of putting it in the row, I can put it in the column. Okay, see, I put it here, but to make things little bit more simpler for us to understand, I'll remove the others. I'll only keep the sum. Okay, so now this is a two-dimensional output that I've get. So for each salesperson, it is showing me what is the sales under each region that I've got. Okay, you know, there's something very interesting that on the pivot tables, if I need another pivot table to be created from the same data set, okay, remember from the same data set, I can quickly copy this entire pivot and I can paste it again. So I'll get a new pivot and I can now change whatever I need to change. Okay, so let's say I want for each region, I want to see how many number of customers are there. So I now remove the sales and I want the dates now. Okay, so I push the dates here. Now, if you have the dates like this, complete dates, pivots are very smart. They're going to divide this into day, month, and year for you automatically. You don't have to worry about it. Okay, so and it is always going to show you from the year onwards. So for each year, 2012, in each of the region, these were the sales. Now I want to get to the month. All I need to do is just click on this plus sign against the year. So it shows me quarter, it shows me months. Okay, with the available date. So it is showing me data only with the available dates. So 2012 quarter 1, Jan, Feb, March, what are the sales? 2013 March only we have the data, April, May we have data, and 2014 May and June Okay, we also have Q3 data here. Okay. We have July data as well. Okay, now I want this data to be shown graphically. All I need to do is just click on insert and click on what is the graph that I want to show. And this is something I like about pivots, that you don't have to worry about what data to insert where. All you need to do is just select what you need as an output and it gives you an output. And it is going to change these outputs basis your selection here in this table. Okay, so let me show you. I remove the region. Okay, I only keep the salesperson. My output automatically changes here. I can take the region and put it in the filter. Okay, and now I can use this filter to see how much is the sales in the middle region by each salesperson. So it is showing me sales by each salesperson in the middle region, in the north region, in the west region. Okay, these are so flexible that I can create any complex dashboards using my pivots and don't need to worry that if people will not be able to use it. They will only have to do these drop downs and they can get any number of desired outputs. Now I can use these outputs and start pushing them onto my presentations. Okay, it is simple. I select this, I say Control C, I take it here, I say Control V. I get my outputs. I can keep creating my dashboards. I don't have to create too many. I don't have to worry about creating too many this data sets and too many outputs. So this is west region, then north region. I can copy and I can paste here. I can keep creating my dashboards. I can keep creating my outputs. Okay, so that is what I like about pivots. And you can do anything using pivots. Anything. It is so flexible.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, how did you inserted that chart in pivot?
Okay, how did I do that? Okay, let me go back. Let me delete this. So I click on the pivot. I go to insert, and these are the charts. I will pick, the chart that I want. It could be any line, pie, bar, area. Let me select bar for you right now and click OK, and the chart comes here. So this output is attached with this pivot. Any changes you do here on the chart will reflect here. Any changes you do here on the pivot will reflect on the chart. Okay, and then you can do beautification on your charts. You can change the color, you can change the design, you can make it more presentable so that people like it when you present it. So you just copy here, take to your presentation, paste it here, so you have your charts.
Is it possible to, if we refresh the raw data, the pivots will also get refreshed automatically, or we have to go and refresh it?
So both the options are available, but I like the option of manual refreshes because I need to know what the changes are. Or how do I refresh the pivot tables? You select the pivot tables, you go to data and you say refresh.
But if we have to keep it on auto refresh, how is that possible?
I would not recommend that, and I really don't know how to do it, which means that I don't want to teach that option.
Okay.
And there is a reason behind this, ma'am, because this has come out of a lot of experience that I will not want my pivots to go auto refresh.
Okay.
So you will learn when you start keep working with pivots and lot of data stuff, maybe 10,000, or maybe 20,000, 30,000 records. Then you will realize that that auto refresh option is not a good option.
Okay. So another thing is when you created a pivot table, there was a data source selection, the range of the data. Now that, so in case if I add another column in column in I, so that I will have to go and manually add it, or is there a way that that can automatically be considered in the pivot?
Fantastic. I was waiting for this question. So now, initially I did only this selection, right? But nobody is stopping me to select like this. Okay, so I've selected what I've done. I've selected the future rows as well. Okay, but when I do a pivot with blank data, I have to be a little careful, because then, sorry, order ID may not make sense. Let's do salesman and let's do net sales. Okay, it shows blank here like this. Okay, and that's okay. That's not a big problem to solve. All you need to do is just go to this row label drop down and uncheck the blank and click OK. Now let me, so there are 1325. Let me duplicate some records here for just ease of learning. Let me duplicate these two records and put them here. So I've added two more records. I'll go back. I will go back to data and I will do refresh. Okay, so this has now got refreshed, 1327. So this is 1327 from 1325. Okay, so that is how you do. So you do the entire selection.
So, sir, this is about rows. We are selecting all the rows. But what about columns? If I want to add another column, column I.
We will have to redraw the pivot, because it does not allow me to add a column without a heading.
Right, yes.
It will not allow me. I can't add future columns. I can only add future rows.
Okay.
That's not
Thank
possible.
you.
You're welcome. So in case, let's say I add another one. So I'm just taking in a hypothetical ASDF, some column, and I need this to be included in the same pivot. I will select this pivot. I will go to analyze and I will click on change data source. Okay, so now my selection is only till column H. I can increase this selection till column I. So now my column I also got selected, ASDF. That is how you can do it, but not automatically.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome, ma'am. Anytime. Okay, people, we are almost closing to the end of our session today. I want to leave you with this thing which is already with you. Sorry, I wanted to open this first. So this is one of the, so there are two business scenarios that we have for you. So one of the business scenarios, I'll read and then we'll see what we need to do. It says the analytics team of pharmaceutical company wants to design a dashboard to analyze the sales of products across various regions and brands. It was to create a chart with user control functionalities, so users can easily see the total sales, commissions of external agents categorized by brands and regions. The company database keeps a track of the following data fields, all these which are there on my data set. Okay. So this is a solved example for you. This is done using what I personally call it the long way. Okay, but that is another way of achieving your output. And this is right here. So this is the data. This is the working that they have done. So what they have done is that they've created tables for each of the requirement that they have. So they wanted sales country wise, commission of the agents. So country wise sales, country wise commission of agents, company wise sales, company wise commission of agents. Okay, and then they've used a long way of defining these dashboards. So this is what it means, that people should be able to select and should be able to see by region or by country. Okay, this is already available with you. You can run through C3 this, but what I'm going to teach you how to create this in a shorter way, in much shorter way, by not able to learn a lot of these functions formulas. I'm not saying you should not, because this is using a lot of other offsets and other functions. But I'm going to show you that how the same thing can be achieved using pivot tables and pivot charts. Okay, so what I need here, I'm right now doing only this selection. I'm saying insert a pivot table on a new worksheet. So I get my pivot table. So I go back to see what I need. So this is what I need. I need a sales dashboard by country, showing me the sales and showing me the commissions. Okay, that is what I require. So I put the company name. Sorry, I will put the company name here on the filter because that is the drop down that I need. Then what do I need? I'm sorry. I need the sales month wise. Okay. So where is my date? Okay, invoice date. And then sales. Where is the sales? Revenue and external commissions. Okay. Revenue and external commissions. Insert bar graph. I can do it in different tables as well. I can do it in one table as well. I think let's put it in different tables. So this one is okay. I can add another table. I can quickly copy this, put it here. And instead of revenue, I can add external commissions. I can insert a graph, put it here. Okay, maybe do more colorful things. Okay, so see, now what happens? This is what they are asking us to do, that I should be able to select a country and able to get the output. So the same they have achieved using this. Okay, and this is a longer way. I'm not saying this is wrong. Okay, uh, do not just see that this is wrong. I'm saying there is long way, there is short way. Again, it will depend on what do we need to. Oh, sorry, I used the company name. I need the country name. Okay, ship to country, full name. Ship to country, full name. Yeah, now it's better. So you select a country, you get your output. Okay, so that is how you can create more meaningful dashboards. You can uh, make them more beautiful by doing lot of other things. Now, why I like this to be with pivots, because tomorrow if some data changes, you add more data, you don't have to worry about, because if you're doing it this way, then you will have to redo a lot of things. You'll have to recreate these tables. Maybe if you add another year to this, right, you will have to recreate all of this. You have to rewrite all these functions, formulas, and then a lot of efforts will go on this dashboarding. So one of the key things that I really want to talk about is, whenever you creating any analysis, you create it with a vision that this may or this can be used in future as well. You don't have to spend too much time, and I call it creating templates for yourself. Okay, when you have a template, your data may change, but with that data change, you can quickly do the analysis and you can quickly generate outputs basis whatever is required. Now, when I do a pivot tomorrow, if somebody asks me, can I get a report with the brand name, I do not have to go sit and do all of it again, because this is going to take time. But if I'm using it through pivots, then probably all I need to do is just maneuver these pivots somewhere. Maybe I copy it somewhere else, uh, drag it, drop it, pull things here and there, and I can get my report out in any time. Okay. Now this is what I want you guys to do. I've also shared another ecom database with you, and also what is required on that ecom. So there is an output which is already there. I want you to try out these outputs. Okay, learn these outputs and how those dashboards are available. See if we can use pivot charts to get the same outputs, and I can bet you we can get the outputs using pivots as well, whatever outputs are there. Okay, so this is for you to try, test. We also have given you how to do it, step by step, how to do it. Just follow these instructions and do it yourself, because more you do it yourself, better you will be at it. Now, within the time that is available, I think That is all I have to share with all of you.